Now, looking at the circle right here, there's a couple of things we need to go over just to make sure we remember. So, the perimeter of the outside of a circle we know is called the circumference. And one of the formulas for finding the circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times the radius, and that will give us the circumference. Okay, so that's one of the first things we need to make sure we know. If we're given the diameter, we also know that pi times the diameter will also be able to give us the circumference. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is how to measure the length of an arc. And we know that whenever we have a central angle, like the one that we have here, so a central angle like this part right here, where that sort of is in between the two angles, that is an arc. So right here, we have our central angle. So the measure, which we talked about, we write as the measure as m of our central angle, because this kind of looks like that. So the measure of our central angle, this is the symbol for angle, of AOB. So the measure of central angle AOB, because O is our origin, is 60 degrees. So if it's 60 degrees, we're good, we're okay, we got that. So our central angle is 60 degrees. Now, we want to find out, though, the measure, or the length, let's go with the length, of arc AB. And remember, this is how we write arc AB. Okay? So how do we do that? How do we go and figure this out? Well, in a lot of ways, the way we work this out is the same way that we did circle graphs. So the same way we turn percent into angles or something into angles on circle graphs, we do something very, very similar with finding out the length of an arc. So the first thing we have to look at is, well, we don't know what the length of angle AB is. So we don't know that. But we do know that our radius is 2 centimeters. So we can work out what our circumference is. So we can find out what the circumference is. So the way we figure out the length of the arc is its circumference, length of our arc, in this case we have arc AB, over our circumference is equal to the measure of our central angle. So the measure of the central angle over 360 degrees, which is the total angles in a circle. So the total amount of angles in the circle is 360 degrees. If we look at a circle, it's 360. So now what we need to do is sort of work the whole thing out. So if we look at what we have here, well, we don't know the length of arc AB. So we don't know that. So that still stays the same. Length of arc AB, we don't know. That's what we're trying to figure out. So we're trying to figure out how long is this part right here. Well, we don't know that. We don't know our circumference either, but we know that our circumference, we know that our radius here is 2. So if we go and use our circumference formula, so 2 times pi times the radius, which in this case is 2, we know that our circumference is 12.56. So this whole circle right here, the perimeter of this whole circle, so its circumference is 12.56 centimeters. So we don't know the length of our arc AB, but we do know now that our circumference is 12.56. Now we have to look at the measure of our central angle. In this case, our central angle is 60 degrees. So we know that our central angle is 60 degrees, and we know that the angle of a circle adds up to 360 degrees. So all we have to do is cross multiply. So we know that the length of arc AB is equal to 12.56 centimeters times 60 divided by 360, and that will give us 2.09 centimeters. So we now know that the length of arc AB, so the length of arc AB is 2.09 centimeters. And the reason why that's also important is from there we can also figure out what is the length of the rest of the circle. So if we know that it's 12.56 for the whole circle, and we know that arc AB is 2.09, if we subtract 12.56 by 2.09, we find out that the circle, the rest of the circle, is 10.47 centimeters. So the key thing that we need to remember here, whenever you're trying to figure out what the central angle is, you need the length of the arc, whatever that happens to be. So if this happened to be asking 80 degrees, okay, so you need the length of the arc over the circumference is equal to the measure of the central angle over 360. So that's pretty much the same thing as where if we said we had 18% over 100% is equal to x over 360. If you guys had, like if you guys were trying to figure out a circle graph, well, you'd go 18 times 360, and then you would divide the whole thing by 100, and you'd figure out that 18% would make up 64.8 degrees. Okay, so it's the same thing. It's the same thing all the way through. So I hope this is helpful. So just make sure you guys realize that key bit of information, that this is set up the same way we did circle graphs. So you're going to have your central angle over 360. You're trying to figure out the length of arc AB over the circumference. This you need to know. So you should add this to your other formulas like 2 pi r for circumference, pi times diameter for circumference, and pi times the radius squared for area. If you remember this stuff, you'll do pretty well on the test that you guys are going to have. So I hope this video is helpful. Hope it helps you study. That's pretty much it. Take care. Have a good night, guys. See you in class. Bye bye.